I can't believe we're doing this.
I can't believe it either. This is such a long time coming.
It really is like a long time in the making.
Mm-hmm.
So thank you guys so much for listening. For everyone that's listening on Spotify or Apple, thank you. And to everyone that is here on YouTube, hello, YouTube family.
Hello.
We really wanted to make sure that there was audio and video for people that want to watch videos. I definitely prefer videos, but a lot of people like to work out and listen to the audio. So we wanted to do both.
Yeah, but this is a long time coming. We've tried this a few other times on
Yeah.
our YouTube channel, but
It's kind of a fail.
thanks to our manager, Maddie, shout out to
Yes.
her.
Yes.
She was like, I think you guys would really benefit from this. And if you follow us on TikTok, we already post this kind of content on there, like deep questions that we ask each other. So this was just a perfect way to like deep, deep dive into that.
Yeah. I mean, we spend so much time like talking to each other like for hours and hours. I think literally yesterday we had like a deep talk about this move and it was literally like 3 hours long and I was like, damn it, that could have been like an episode, and we'll probably talk about it later on in the series. But we do this all the time, so I was like, you know what, we might as well share our thoughts with people because people really enjoy when we like sit down and talk on TikTok.
And if you guys know us, we get deep. Like our conversation
Really
yesterday,
deep.
like the waterworks were going. I
Yeah.
was sobbing. There's gonna be lots of crying, lots of laughs on here,
Yeah.
and I hope you guys enjoy this.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah. So I'm Tamera. I'm
Everyone say hi, Tamara.
I'm 24. I
Hi.
actually turn 25 in like 2 weeks
Hell
or
yeah.
less,
Yeah.
and I'm a Cancer.
I am Isabel. I am 20. I almost said 25. Oh my God. I am 26. Oh my God. That makes my heart hurt. I am Isabel. I'm 26 and I am a Taurus. And I feel like I match the zodiac sign to a T, especially emphasis on the stubbornness.
Oh yeah. And I'm definitely emotional, so I definitely relate to the Cancer sign.
Do
And
you
I
feel
think,
like our zodiac signs are compatible?
yeah. Oh, I've
I
researched it.
agree. A lot of people think that we're not compatible for many different reasons, which I actually think is really funny. And maybe we'll go into that in one of the episodes.
You guys know
But
what we're talking about. But no, it says that Taurus and Cancer duos like make the best businesses or like are the
right.
best business partners.
Hell yeah.
And
Look at us now,
we're
baby.
doing a podcast and we have our social media and stuff, so we kind of are doing the thing.
Yeah, we're doing the thing. But today we want to talk about the story of us and our relationship, how we started all of this. Just take you back to basics, back to where we started everything.
Yeah, and if you are listening to this on like a podcast like service, you probably aren't seeing us right now.
Yeah.
And we are a lesbian couple.
Yes.
Let's just get that out there.
Yes. We
and
are not
so-
straight. Not straight.
Not straight.
Absolutely not.
Opposite of straight. And our story, I feel like, is different to most people, but if you're also a lesbian, you're going to relate to this podcast
yeah.
in every aspect
I'm
because
sure.
we did it all.
We really we like opened a book of lesbian stereotypes and went down the list and just checked
Yep.
them all off. Besides the U-Haul, I will say we waited a little bit longer than the typical U-Haul lesbian, so congrats to us. But
I saw a post today though, and it was a lesbian couple sharing like their U-Haul story. And I commented on it and I was like, well, we 1000% would have U-Hauled if we weren't so young
oh
when
my
we
God,
met.
are you kidding? Especially if you
like-
like went to the same school, it would have been like I met you and bam, you would have
Yeah.
been like we would have been like living in my parents' basement or something.
Because when we met, I was still in high school. So like
Yeah.
we were very young. So I don't think we would have had the capacity or like the knowledge to even know how to like go from two different parts of the country and
Yeah.
combine our
Oh
lives
my
together.
God, please.
But if we were to meet each other like at our age now, we would have moved in.
So I guess like for the beginning of our relationship, to sum up the lesbianism, we literally met on Twitter. I feel like there's a lot of lesbian couples on that app for some reason, and we would watch them all. Like, I don't want to even say names, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. Like the lesbian compilation videos, like before
Oh my
TikTok was
God.
around, and like the YouTube
The
couples. And,
flipgram. The
oh my,
flipgram
yes,
couples.
flipagram. What were they?
You used to say, you would say, like, we can't post it on no flipagram.
Oh my god. Yeah, it was like that era where like people were like, it was like the content creation of like 2016 or
Yeah.
2015 actually. And so we both had stan accounts for an artist that we liked. This also sounds so lesbian. Um, we both
Two
were
lesbians with the Twitter account for a girl.
for a girl. And here we are now with a house.
Shout out Alessia Cara.
Shout out Alessia Cara. We both were big fans, still are, of Alessia Cara.
Of course.
I feel like you guys probably know who she is. She sings "Here," "Scars to Your Beautiful,"
Stay.
"How Far I'll Go," "Stay."
You know
a pop
her.
girly. Shout out to you. So yeah, we met through her, and we spent a lot of time supporting another woman.
That's what brought us
With
together.
a group of other women that were also really gay. It was like Fifth Harmony, like before Fifth Harmony. Like it was bad. But it was so fun. Like we all just had like little stan accounts and we would spend all day talking about her, and like we had like this like friend group with like maybe like 10 other girls, and we all would just like go on Uvu and like FaceTime and like just like talk about things. That's so crazy to even say, like Uvu.
I know.
Is that
Uvu's
even a
dead
thing
now.
anymore?
No, they're dead. They're gone.
Oh my god. But Tamera and I met obviously through Twitter. You always say that you tried to message me and I was not interested.
And that is exactly what happened.
Isn't that crazy?
Yes. Okay. So basically, when I made my little Twitter account,
Yeah.
I had like a specific Alessia Cara username, and Isabel was just always Isabel. Like you just always had your regular name as yours. So I didn't even know you were a fan, because it was like if you didn't have a fan account like username, I didn't know if
Yeah.
you were just like part-time fan or
Yeah.
full-time
Or like a
fan.
local or like yeah.
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 But then it was 2015. Alessia was brand new, like
Brand
new.
spanking new.
And Isabel had met her.
Yeah, I already had a photo.
And I was just like, and I was like, I thought I was one of the first people to discover Alessia, but apparently someone beat me to it and has already met her.
Right.
Other people did too, but it's because they lived in New York, and by the way, I'm from Nebraska, so I'm
Yeah, we
from
missed that part.
the middle of nowhere.
Yeah.
So I was kind of always like on the outskirts of like all of this fan stuff happening. And yeah, you met Alessia, so I was already just automatically jealous, because in this time it was like if someone had met your favorite artist, like you were envious of them,
Yeah.
like envious.
It was bad. Like you have to like lock your doors. Like it was a whole it was a whole scenario. Like so many people hated me.
And still do.
So funny.
Anyways, so I was jealous that you met her, but I also, you were so funny. Like your tweets were funny, and eventually like all these little Leslie fan accounts like found each other because she was so small still. So we kind of all gravitated towards each other and became friends. And I think I like followed you first, and
Yeah.
I think you followed me back, but like you were in this era where you were like in college, the beginning of college, and you like had a lot of friends.
Yeah.
You were doing a lot of things, and I was always like a loner in high school. I didn't have any friends. Like all my friends that I have or have made pretty much were from Twitter, like online, and that's just how it's always been for me. But I thought you were so funny, so I was trying to be your friend, and you just,
I don't remember like ignoring you. I honestly don't even remember you messaging me. Or maybe I remember you messaging me, but like I don't think I like purposely ignored you. I feel like that's crazy.
no, you probably didn't. That's not who you are.
But
But I remember
I
trying
also
so
didn't
hard.
respond, so I guess maybe I did do that. Like I'm a horrible person.
You were busy, but I just remember like DMing you and trying to like be silly and like
Yeah.
get your like attention, just simply to be your friend, because I think I just thought you were really funny.
Yeah.
But yeah, a lot of the times, like, you would respond once and then I would try to continue the conversation and then boom, you just disappeared. Like, wouldn't respond.
Damn. That's
So
crazy.
eventually, this is what happened. There was like a group chat that was made on like
Mm-hmm.
iMessage, and it was like 60 Alessia Cara
Yeah.
fans, and we were just all talking and spamming. And that was like my chance to get Isabel's number because it was in the group chat. So
Right.
I,
Sliding through.
I eventually,
Sliding through the group chat.
I eventually then like messaged you separately and tried to be friends, and again was ignored. So I just kind of gave up on being your friend. But then eventually, like, there was this core group of us, and if any of our like older Alessia friends are watching, hello.
Shout out to you.
But we had like this group of like maybe like 8 to 10 of us, and we had our own little group. We were just like best friends, and we all lived all across the country,
Yeah.
and became really good friends.
Yeah.
And then let me just long story short this. I ended up dating one of our friends in the group, and
It doesn't get more lesbian than this. It's like there's something about lesbians and like dating everyone in the friend group. I literally the other day I saw a TikTok where it was something about like when you're helping your ex get married to their soulmate with your girlfriend sitting next to you. So it was like the ex and her new fiance with the ex and her new girlfriend helping the ex plan the wedding. I'm like, what? How are you guys even still friends? Number one. And number two, why are you helping your ex get married and wedding plan?
it's completely normal. Like, I think it's because like
You just like run out of people.
I think it's because it's so hard to know who's a lesbian.
Oh,
Like,
that's a
'cause
whole thing.
especially if you're femme, like you just like don't know who's a lesbian, and so I
Yeah.
feel like there's such a tight knit group of us
Oh yeah,
that
yeah,
like
yeah.
we just end up going through each other.
Oh my
Like,
god, it's so funny. But basically, like Alessia ended up having a show in New York. It's called BLI Festival, and I was in New York. Most of my friends in the group were in New York too, but you were in Nebraska, so you took it upon yourself to go and drive with another friend who was in Nashville.
yeah.
Nashville, and you both at like, I'm not kidding you guys, like they were like 17 years old, 16 years old.
I was 17. I think this friend was maybe 2 years older than me, but still, like
But
we were
you
young.
guys drove across the country.
I had never met her before ever, other than just our little group chat. And for some reason,
That's
my mom was just
insane.
like,
Sick.
"Yeah, okay, whatever." I was literally
Please.
17. Like I had
That's
just
insane.
just graduated. This was like a week after I graduated high school.
That's literally insane. And then we all ended up meeting at the BLI festival. She was already with another person at the time.
The person in the
But
friend
we
group.
ended up, I guess I've left this out. We ended up being really close friends. It started out with us like ignoring each other or something, but then we ended up being like so close, like talking all the time.
Like I remember we had this friend group. We'd be on like Uvu all the time, but like
Yeah.
me and Isabel would always separately be texting each
Yeah.
other because like we just like got each other. Like we
Yeah.
always were just very close.
We were just in our own little world, and I loved it. And at the time, like we met for the first time, you were with another person. I did like you, but I obviously wanted to respect your relationship, and I would never want to like step on anybody's toes. So I just wanted to be a good friend, and we just had so much fun. Like I just feel like there was never a moment where I felt like awkward with you or anything. Like it just
Me
like
either.
really felt so natural, and we were just like, I don't like. Are you smiling? Are you making me nervous?
I'm sorry. I went the other way.
No, but like, I just feel like we had a really good time. It was like all these. Was Fifth Harmony there?
Yes.
Oh my
they
god!
were
So
there.
it was Fifth Harmony. It was like Megan Trainor. It was Alessia
It was a
Cara,
pop.
Troy Sivan. Like it was like a whole thing. It was really crazy. But you and I were just like vibing like the whole night and just like laughing hysterically. Like it just felt so easy. It's like when you like meet a new friend, and you're like kind of nervous to meet them because you don't know if they're going to be the same as they were like online or whatever. And it's just like you click like that, and it's just like a breath of fresh air. Like you don't have to like come up with questions to ask and like feel like strange. Like it was just so easy.
Yeah, like I still have videos from that night of us just being so young and
Yeah.
like silly. And it was so funny because even like as friends, like for some reason we would call each other wife.
Right.
Like it was just, that
Right.
sounds so crazy,
Foreshadowing.
but like that's what we would call each other. And that's so messy because the
Wifey.
night of this music festival is the night that our friend in the group and I first started to date. Like that was the official day. But I genuinely didn't have any idea Isabel liked me. I just thought we were really good friends.
Yeah.
And I didn't like Isabel either. I just really felt comfortable with you. And so me and this person started to date officially, but this person also lived in New York. So it was a long distance relationship. And it only lasted like 3 months. So then shortly after that, me and Isabel started dating because we like really got close, especially because that breakup was like rough for me. It was my first breakup ever. I didn't really date anyone in high school, so
Yeah.
this was my first like relationship with any person in general. And
That's
then of
hard.
course it was a WLW
Yeah.
relationship, so
That's crazy.
10 times worse. And so Isabel really helped me through this breakup, and that's another reason why I just didn't think that you even liked me, because you were just like guiding me through.
And it wasn't anything like malicious or anything. Like I don't want anyone to be like Isabel jumping in to like give advice
No.
and like I honestly wanted them to be like end game. Like I'm somebody that would never ever ever step on any toes in a relationship, whether you like the person or not. I just think it's important to like almost like keep your feelings to yourself and just be there as a friend at the end of the day. And that was really important to me because I feel like you were really hurt at that time and you were going through a lot in your personal life in general at the time. And I just felt like you needed a friend. And even though I did like you at that time, that was like way on the back burner in my mind. Like I did not want to like step on your toes with
Yeah.
that. And also you just got out of a relationship. So for me to be like, well, I really like you, like you literally just it's been like 24 hours.
Another key part of this, though, is that during this time, Isabel didn't realize she was gay.
Which makes
And
absolutely no sense. Number one, for all our YouTube viewers, look at me right now. This is literally how I was dressed like 7 years ago as well. And I would just do like really sketchy things where I'm like, how did I not think that this was the case? You know, I feel like it's like an internalized homophobia thing. And I would love to talk about that more in another episode. But like looking back at like my photos at that time, I'm like, how could you even think for a second that you are a straight woman? There is just no inkling in any of these photos, any of these videos, any of this energy that is giving straight woman. But for some reason, I locked that in my brain and I threw it away and I was like, no, I don't like girls.
I mean, it's all a process we have
It
to go
is
through.
all a process, let
So
me tell you.
it's all right.
And now
We
we're here.
realized, and now we're here. We're not married yet, but we plan to be in the future.
Of course.
But yeah, so during that time, like I had no idea that Isabel liked me because I didn't even think she liked girls.
Yeah.
And I think like, I can't believe I'm about to say this in front of so many people, but at the time I was 17, I was like a horny little like
Right.
teenager, like,
Right.
you know, experiencing things for the first time and whatever, and realizing that I was gay is like during this time too. So I think I was just like on the hunt for a
Right.
woman.
Right. On the
Because
damn
I
hunt.
just wanted to like experience like love and all of that stuff. And so I remember like asking early on before we were even like good friends if you were gay. Because
Yeah.
I honestly had a feeling that you were, which is so
Right.
bad, but
Your gaydar is crazy though.
think
Like
so.
it really is wild. Like it's never good to assume that someone is, but I just feel like you're always so on par with everybody, and it's just like it's so crazy, especially with me. Like it's like
Yeah.
on like 100.
Because I think a reason too why I was like trying to get closer to you, I don't know. Like subconsciously, I think I was like trying to express my teen angst like
Right.
feelings, you know?
Right.
So I think like actually out of everybody on Twitter that we became friends with at some point, I was like, how can I get them to date me? Because I was just like, I was just newly gay in my
Yeah.
mind. And so I was
There's a
just
lot
like,
going on at
wow, like
17,
women,
18.
girls, I wanted to
Right.
experience things.
Right.
And
Can't be mad at it.
I was never very like good at like making friends, like I said, or like talking to people in general. So the internet was a lot easier place to like meet girls and like find girls and know that they're actually gay and not have to go through like the if I shoot my shot and then they're straight, it's awkward.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I didn't know you were gay. And then shortly after we came back from that festival, we started to date, which is so crazy because there was never a point where you yet realized you were gay or like talked about it. But
No.
things just like randomly
I
got,
definitely feel like being in the group though kind of opened me up just because literally everyone in this group was gay.
yeah.
Of some sort in the community.
Yeah.
And I was like the only one that was like straight, and it just like felt strange. So then I was like, oh, like these people are like just openly talking about this. And I think that's why it goes back to internalized homophobia, because I just felt like there was not really many people in my area that were like talking about that, or like you would have like one person in your high school that was like a lesbian, but like it was like pushed under the rug back in the day. And I feel like because everyone was so openly talking about it, then I started like questioning like, oh, do I also like girls, or am I just like not like everybody else? Yeah.
Well, that's actually funny because I also realized I was gay because of this friend group too. Like
Oh yeah, there's just a lot going on.
during high school, like my best friend is straight, and so like talking about like boys and stuff, it kind of just felt like something that you had to do and had to be
Yeah.
into, and you kind of just like close off the thought of even being gay because it was just not
Yeah.
normal or normalized.
Yeah.
It's a lot more normalized now than it was even just when I was in high school like a couple years ago. And so this group also made me realize that I was gay. And
Slay.
slay.
Such a slay.
But yeah, it was like weird because we went from being friends and I thought you were straight and I knew I was a lesbian, but then like this is so bad and this is such a lesbian thing, but I'm not kidding. After a week after me and this person broke up, me and Isabel started dating, which I know is
That's horrible.
horrible.
That is like a big red
It is
flag.
horrible,
But
but
it literally, I feel like it sounds bad, but I just feel like it was like a natural transition. It wasn't like anyone is like jumping at the other person. There was no like specific time. It was just like we were talking and we were getting through the breakup, and then there was just like a switch of energy one day, and then it was like, okay, like I can get used to this or something.
yeah,
Like there wasn't anything like malicious or anything at all.
no.
It was just like it just felt right. I don't know.
There's layers to it because on one side, like I was also the one that got broken up with, so it's not like
And it didn't really go well.
so it's not that like I didn't think that would hurt the person anyway because they
Yeah.
clearly didn't want to be with me anymore. I was the
Yeah.
one that broke it off. But then people also thought, oh my God, it almost felt like we were famous on Twitter during this time because like so many people that we weren't even friends with were like talking about this whole thing and it was like very big
It was a lot.
at the time. I think people thought that it was like a rebound thing, like I
Yeah.
got broken up with, so I'm running to Isabel. But it really was like in time moves fast in lesbian years. Like we know this.
Oh, it does,
So
fully.
a week is like a month, maybe even like 2 months. So this 1 week things like moved fast, but it didn't feel fast in the moment. It felt
Yeah.
very natural because we were already so close. Like I think I was closer with you than I was with this person. Like
Yeah.
I could share anything with you and like you wouldn't judge me for it and we were just very vulnerable with each other.
Yeah.
Naturally.
Yeah, we were.
So it just like naturally happened and there was just like one night where things just like got like spicy.
Spicy
Things were
dicey.
different on this FaceTime call, and
Right.
I don't
Slay.
even know. It was just
Such a slay.
a different energy. And so then we kind of both like could feel it, but we were both, I think we both were scared to like talk about it. So we just like played it off like we're just being friends. Cause you do kind of flirt with your friends anyway. Like you like kind of like have playful like banter
Yeah.
like with your friends. Like
Yeah.
that's normal. So I think that's what we kind of just thought it was. But then a few days after that, things took a turn. I think like you like called me pretty or something. I think I like sent you a selfie and like why would I send a selfie to someone who's my friend? I wouldn't do that to anyone else. But I sent it to you, I think, and then you were like, "Wow, you're so pretty." And then
Right.
I was like I was like, "Ooh, you think so?" And then that was like for sure like okay, this is like getting out of the friend
Yeah.
zone. Like this is like on the cusp of like
Right. Lesbianism, for sure.
lesbianism. And then what happened?
Then you asked me to be your girlfriend.
I did on
Yeah.
Snapchat.
On Snapchat. Doesn't get cuter than that. Not even her real voice. It was like the
The
fox, the chipmunk little.
Yeah, I had the filter on, and then the voice was like high pitched, and it was literally like,
Will
Isabel, will
you
you be my girlfriend? And you said yes.
Yeah.
It's like, as much as that sounds so silly, you said yes to that. So you really
Oh
just.
hell yeah, I was ready.
Ooh.
Right. And we got together and we've been together ever since. It's now been 6 years. It's just
Yeah.
absolutely
Almost
insane.
7.
Can you believe that?
I really can't believe
We
it.
really slayed. Like people really thought I was your rebound.
I know, and look at that. We proved them wrong.
Thank God. So, because all of this happened on Twitter, as I said before, I was in New York, upstate New York, in like the Hudson Valley area. But then you were in Nebraska. So, obviously, we were not in the same place. So, we had to do long distance, which gets even more lesbian. And our long distance was crazy. Like when we always tell this story on TikTok, but when I'm like saying it out loud, it is genuinely so crazy to me that we did long distance for as long as we did. We did it for like 3 years.
3 years, yeah.
And so at this time, I think you were 18, I was 19. I was like just finishing high school, going into college, and so were you, I think. And we both were in school, so I was like doing internships. I had a part-time job or something, and you were working and doing your internships in school while also maintaining a relationship, which I feel like is really difficult. Like I don't think people
Yeah.
like talk about how difficult it is to like focus on your studies, focus on work, but also like maintain a relationship and like have time for somebody. But we really made it work.
We really
We
did.
really
And
slayed that.
I think people like initially think that long distance relationships are so hard, and
And they are.
they are hard, but I feel like honestly the first 2 years I didn't really bat an eye that we were long distance. Like it really
No.
didn't bother me that much.
I mean, maybe that's because we started long distance,
I
like we
do think
were
so.
already like online. I do think it would be harder if like we went to the same school and then you like moved away and then like I was so used to like being around you in person and then we just like disappeared. But I do think it was easier but that we started long distance from the get-go as friends.
Yeah, I do
And
think
like
that's true.
FaceTime was just like normal for us because that's just how we had to have friendship.
Yeah. So because we were long distance, why are you looking at me
I
like
don't
that? You're
Sorry.
making me nervous.
Sorry.
But because we were in school, we could only see each other twice a year.
Yes.
Summer break,
So
winter
every
break.
6 months, that was it. That was hard. So
It was-
you decided to come to see me and my family when we were dating for 3 months. So we didn't like see each other as a couple until 3 months into our relationship. And I told my mom, oh my God, if my mom is watching this, it's going to be
This
so.
story deserves its own episode.
I told my mom that there's a girl I met online through Alessia that is my friend, even though we were dating for 3 months. I know, red flag. I told her that she's my friend and that I really want her to visit me for some reason. And she was, for some reason, so down. Mind you, like, she lives in Nebraska. Like, she doesn't even live in the state. I'm like 19 years old, and there's this girl on the internet that I want to come visit me in New York. And my mom didn't even bat an eye. She was like, yeah, sure, that's fine. And then we pick you up, and that trip was just so crazy.
It
My
really
mom
was.
thinks that this is just some girl that I'm just friends with because we went to a concert together. Meanwhile, we're like holding hands underneath like my jacket.
Yep, I think you picked me up from like JFK. Your
Right.
mom's driving us from JFK all the way to Poughkeepsie, New York, like two
Yes.
hours away.
Yes.
We're in the back seat holding hands under your
Yeah.
jacket.
And I just didn't even know what to say to you. I was so
I was so
like,
nervous. And then,
what were your like first impressions?
well, I guess technically I'd already seen you in person before
True.
from the music festival,
True.
but
But like as a couple, I guess.
as a couple,
3 months in. Do you remember?
well,
Like,
things were really crazy during that time.
yeah, they really
We were
were. There was
very
a
crazy.
lot
Like
going on.
FaceTime calls were not boring. And so I think I was just nervous to experience like my first in-person
Yeah.
girlfriend.
And
Like
this was my first relationship too. So I was like really nervous. I thought you
you
were
didn't seem
really,
like it.
really pretty, especially in person. I thought you looked better than the photos.
Oh, please.
And I remember being nervous, but I felt confident. I don't
You
know.
seemed confident.
Yeah.
Like, okay, so first kiss
Right.
was obviously this day.
Let's get into
And
it.
we talked about it weeks leading up. Like, oh my God, like I
Like,
can't wait to
when
kiss
you
you.
like when you're like newly with someone, it's just like, oh my god, I just can't wait to like grab your face and like
I'm gonna
kiss
kiss
you, and
the.
I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do this, and then like you get to the moment and they don't serve at all. I served.
You did serve.
Not to toot my own horn, but I kind of served. As for someone that has never been in a relationship, I was just like, I know that girls talk about this, and I know that they're like so mad that like their like partner says all these things and it's gonna do this and then they never do it. And I was like, all right, you need to bring her stuff in. And I brought your stuff in when we got to the house.
You
I
did.
picked up the suitcase and I brought it up the stairs. And then I was like, you need to just kiss her and like ask her if she needs anything and go in and give a kiss. And I did. And I
You
slayed.
did.
Were you surprised?
I think I was, but I also, again, like, this is my first. I mean, technically, you weren't my first real girlfriend, but compared to the other relationship, like, the whole thing was only 3 months all together, and it was
Yeah.
all online. And, like, even though that person was technically my first kiss, it was, like, very nerve-wracking.
Yeah.
And we both were just young and nervous, and so it was, like, almost just was so fast that I didn't remember it,
Yeah.
kind of thing. But like, you definitely like thought this through, and I think because we had like such a close relationship, it was like even more like, oh my God, like I really
Yeah.
like this person, and like I can see my future with this person. So our first kiss was like the most memorable thing
I just
ever.
remember like grabbing your face and just like kissing
There
you,
were
and I
3
felt like
smooches.
I was like floating in the air.
Aw.
I was
I
so
still remember you were
happy.
wearing that denim jacket. I was
Yeah.
wearing that like bomber jacket that I think,
And I had long hair at this time. Like
yeah, you had your red
I
beanie, I
didn't do the
think.
cut yet. Like it was it was a whirlwind.
Yeah. No, you served.
Thanks, babe.
I remember like the feeling. I remember there were 3 smooches. I remember the whole thing. You even closed the door. Your parents are probably like, why would you immediately close your door with your best friend
They didn't bat an eye until that one night.
until that one night?
I don't even think we can get into
I
that.
think that has to be a whole
I don't
episode.
even think we can get into that. If you guys are interested in that situation on how they figured out she's my girlfriend, definitely let us know. Because that was the most embarrassing, most just vile.
Kind of traumatic. Like when I think about it,
Slightly traumatic experience. Oh my
like when
god.
I think about it, I'm
It just
like,
happened so
it's like
fast.
the adrenaline in my body
It
is.
happened so fast, and it's like you can't really like enjoy the rest of the vacation
Oh,
afterwards.
and it wasn't even just what
I always
happened.
thought that was the last day, but we came back the next day and had to wake up and like do another day.
No, babe, that was like the first night of the trip of the week.
I know.
And it
Oh my
wasn't
god,
even
the
but it,
energy was so bad.
but it wasn't even just what they found. It was the car accident.
Oh my god, with no context, this probably sounds absolutely insane. But if you want like more about that, we will totally
Yeah.
talk about that in another episode. But basically, we did do long distance for 3 years. That was our first visit. We were at 3 months, and then I think our next one was 6 months, 9 months.
I think it was 9 months.
Yeah,
That's when
9 months.
booked a hotel.
Yeah, New York.
Yeah, at the
That was
Paramount.
actually really cute.
I felt so cute. That's where
And we have those
that
photos.
picture in our
Yeah.
kitchen is from.
Yeah, we have a photo of ourselves at 9 months, but nothing after
Of
that.
recent.
We've been together for
Well, I think like my Polaroid camera broke
Oh,
after
yeah,
that year, so
Not a
like
slide.
now we just don't have.
Yeah.
Anything.
But that was a really cute time.
It was. We were so.
And that was
naive
your
and
first
cute.
time going to New York, right?
No, you took me at 3 months. That's when we went to Tiffany's.
Oh.
As if we could afford anything at 18. We just were looking at the view. That's literally what we went there for.
I know, and everyone's like, do you need help with anything? And I'm just like, no,
No.
I'm just looking.
Oh my god, we were such kids.
Oh my god. But yeah, I feel like long distance was hard for us, but at the same time it was kind of just like a breeze just cuz it just felt like that's what we had to do. And then you ended up moving in with my family,
I did.
and that was towards the end of our long distance journey. So things were starting to get a little frustrating, I think.
Yeah. I think the thing is we knew that we would never break up, but the long distance was definitely getting to a point where it was like unbearable and like it was just like we didn't have anything to like talk about anymore.
Everything was very future based. It's like, we're going to have kids, we're going to have a house. I can't wait to do this. I can't wait to do this. And not enough about now. But it was also like, I think at the time you were going through a lot of things.
I was, yeah.
And there wasn't really anything I could say to you. Like, I could just, because I'm not someone that wants to like give advice on something that you're going through. So then there was like, all I could say was, I'm sorry that you're going through this. As you're like sobbing to me on FaceTime. And I'm like, I can't even hug you. Like,
Yeah.
I can't give you any type of physical touch. Like, there's just nothing. And that was really hard on us, I think.
Yeah, because when things are like that bad, it's like sometimes words just don't.
That's like the last thing you want to hear.
Yeah, but like if I was just to like be in your arms and like to be held by you, like that would have been more healing than
Yeah.
anything because I know that like all you can say is sorry and like listen to me and like that means a lot. Obviously, I would never take that for granted. Like a lot of people don't listen to their partners.
Yeah.
But if I could have just like been in your arms and like cried on your shoulder, like that would have.
100%. And so I think things just kind of got not really good. And I brought it up to you to come live with me. And I remember talking to my dad and asking him, and he was okay with it. We kind of didn't tell my mom. I don't know why. But I got to like had this idea with my dad to like ask if you would want to move in with us. And like from your perspective, I could imagine how terrifying that is to like just like move in like one across the country. You were still like 19 years old, and like you're moving in with someone else's like family, like your significant other's family, let alone like maybe it would have been a little different if we had our own place, but you were going to be like a part of my family, and you had only met them like maybe 2 or 3 times at that time.
Yeah. And the thing is like your family was always very welcoming. Like they had mentioned before, like if you ever like need to get away, because my like home life has always been like a little bit like
Hectic.
troubled, hectic, unstable.
Yeah.
And so your family's always been like very open and like welcoming to
Yeah.
me. And so I think like I always knew that they would like not have like a problem with it, but I myself just didn't want to feel like a burden. Like even my
Yeah.
best friend, like her mom would always say like, "Oh, you can always like come live with us or stay with us if like things get bad."
It
But
doesn't necessarily feel
it
good.
doesn't feel good. It feels like I'm like a problem and
Yeah.
like I didn't like that. But then I think things got so bad where I was in my life at this time, and then we were also just like
Struggling with long
struggling.
distance.
Yeah, because this was 2 years in to like doing this. So then I turned 21, I think. Yeah, 21. Me and my best friend went to Vegas because our birthdays were a few months apart.
Super slay.
Super slay. We went to Vegas, and in Vegas, I was like telling my friend, I was like, I'm literally so depressed. I don't want to go back home. And she was like, why don't you just go live with Isabel? And I was like, well, I just like don't want like her family to take care of me. I don't want to like be
Yeah.
someone's problem. And then towards the end of the trip, I was like really like feeling like I'm going back home and like this feels horrible. I don't want to be there.
Yeah.
So I like brought it up to Isabel, but I was like not really expecting anything because that's like a big thing to just like bring in someone else into your
Yeah.
family. And long story short, they ended up being fine with it. I think for the most part, I don't think your mom knew much about it or like when,
No, but she got around to it.
but this was like Vegas ended one day and I had booked my flight for 2 weeks out. So I only, it was very short notice, very fast moving experience, but
But your grandma was so down for it.
I think she was because like I was just like, well, this is just like what I'm doing and I booked the flight.
And you were an adult too.
Yeah,
Like you're
but it
still
still
young, but
felt,
it's
I think it was more so like my grandpa, like he kind of like had a lot of control over my life and still does, even though he's not here anymore. And so I was like really anxious to bring it up to them. I don't even think I actually told him. I just told my grandma, and then he eventually obviously had to find out. But
yeah.
and then I just moved there, and then we just started this journey living in upstate New York together with your family.
It was honestly like one of the best things that could have ever happened to our relationship.
It really
I
was.
think a lot of people end up moving in with their partner's parents and it is actually a nightmare. But I think it was the total opposite for us. My parents are the best. Shout out to my mom and dad if you guys are watching.
Shout out.
They just gave us so much love and support. After the whole incident and everything happened, they have welcomed her as like their own. And I am so thankful for that because I know a lot of people are struggling with like family acceptance, whether it's of them or of their partner. They loved you instantly. And we had so much freedom to just do whatever and be young and in love. And it was just so easy.
It really was. Like, I think I
Like they didn't
hear
ask of anything of us.
they really didn't, except for like her mom to tell us to stop talking at like
Oh yeah,
9
yeah.
p.m.
But that
But
was
like
it.
that's very valid. We had our room was right next to her mom's room, so like if we were giggling all night, like she could hear everything. So it makes sense. Like
Yeah.
as long as we were respectful, like they really didn't ask anything else of us, and that was very, very like
We just got to be young and like I just felt like I didn't have to stress about anything. Like we would just like go to the city every weekend and just like run around and go to concerts together, travel a little bit. We went to Vermont for our anniversary, which
yeah.
was really beautiful. It just felt so free.
Yeah, no, we were really lucky. I know a lot of people don't get that kind of experience, and that's something that I don't think we'll ever take for granted.
Never.
Like, that was such a key part of our relationship because that's when we first got to like experience living together. But it was like under the comfort and under the wing of like her parents. So it was like we weren't stressed out about bills and stuff yet. We literally were just being kids.
And then COVID happened.
Yes,
And
which
then
we would have never expected.
thrived.
We really did thrive because like
Work was rough for you
I
especially.
yeah, so when I moved in, like I felt like it was my responsibility, my duty to like work full time because I wasn't in school anymore. Right before I moved in with your family, I graduated with my associates and I didn't know what I wanted to do after that. So I just worked full time at a retail place. And
Slay.
I was so depressed,
Yeah.
but I was at least happy that I was with Isabel. And Isabel was still in school. You were like
Yeah.
finishing up your bachelor's and then you kind of started your master's like
Yeah.
later.
I was doing a lot.
But like COVID is like the last thing I think any of us would have expected, but
Yeah.
especially just like I had just moved there, like
I always think about like if we never like moved in with each other and COVID happened, like at the beginning of COVID, I don't know if you guys remember, but like you couldn't even like book a flight, like everything would be canceled, and we probably wouldn't have been able to see each other for like probably another year,
yeah.
not even like every 6 months. So I'm like, we literally timed that so perfectly
Yeah.
because things would have been so different if we didn't do
No,
that.
it really just shows like everything happens for a reason
It really
because I
does.
remember feeling so anxious about moving there and like
Yeah.
again being someone's problem, but then it's like if I wouldn't have done that, we wouldn't have seen each other. And I think our relationship is so strong that I don't think anything would have ever or could ever break us up, but it just would have made things even harder than it
Yeah.
already was. But yeah, so COVID happened. I was working full time. You were working part time and in school, and everything shut down. Retail
Yeah.
stores were like shut down. So we both
It was just you and
weren't
me.
working, but we were still getting paid, and we were like, "Oh my god!"
Sorry.
We were just like, we were going hiking every
Oh my
every day.
God.
We'd go to
It
the
was a
lake.
dream. It was like what life is like now, but like without bills.
Yeah,
Like we had no responsibility at all. You were still getting paid and you could just like throw the money away at anything. And we started our TikTok
yeah.
and we
2020 was like the era of
yeah.
TikTok.
And that was like our hobby for a while. And we were just doing that just for fun because we had nothing else to do. And it was just really the start of everything. And we started our Instagram. Um, and then we kind of just like got into this. And we'll do like a whole episode on like starting like your business and starting like social media as a couple. I feel like there's so much we could talk about with that.
Yeah.
But yeah, COVID was a really special time for us.
We really got to like, and your family too, like they were always home because their jobs, they got to work
Yeah.
from home. So like we really like kind of connected with your family a lot. Like I remember
Yeah.
we would go like strawberry picking with your mom and like
Thrifting.
thrifting.
Oh my God, my mom was taking us everywhere. But
Yeah.
that felt really nice that you were able to like get to know my parents more because like when you were coming like on vacation, like we were just spending time together and not really with them. So like it felt good to like have you like be able to spend time with my mom and like all three of us girls like going and like doing little outings and stuff. And I felt like you were starting to warm up more with
Yeah.
like not feeling like a burden and feeling more like, oh, this is like my second home, kind of.
Yeah. And not to go too into like the social media stuff, but that is when we started to post on like TikTok, and we didn't even have that much followers like that first year. We were just really just having fun with it. And I think we had like maybe 15, 20K on TikTok when 2 years had passed after COVID. And I think we were just like, we've been inside for 2 years. We've always wanted to like get our own place.
Yeah.
And your family really wanted you to do your master's, and you were
Yeah,
like,
that was a rough,
no.
rough
I mean,
time.
yeah, you started it, but it really wasn't what you wanted to do. So we just felt kind of like stuck because we were just like, okay, we've spent so much time inside the last 2 years. Like, we
Yeah.
wanted adventure and fun. So that's when we decided to make the move to New York City.
And that was insane. We
That
will
was
have
an
a
era.
whole episode of that as well. But that was like our first apartment ever, like having our own place to ourselves after being long distance for so long and then living under my parents' wing. That was our first time like combining finances together
Yeah.
and just everything. And we were starting like our own business on top of that too.
Yeah, actually, like,
And it was a lot.
yeah.
Like joining savings accounts and everything I'm spending is affecting you and vice versa. It was a whole thing.
We learned a lot in
Yeah.
New York,
Yeah,
like,
we
for
did.
sure.
And we
Like,
grew up a lot.
I think we could have lived anywhere and we would have learned a lot, but I think New York really pushed like
Push the limits
limits
for
on us.
sure.
And actually, the last few days when I think about New York, because I've been thinking about it a lot now that we recently moved out of New York, we'll get there soon. Now when I think about New York, I think of it in like a positive way, and I think
Yeah.
about like the pretty stuff. But our first year living there was that it was very perfect. We had a lot of money because of
Yeah.
COVID and our savings just kind of racking up.
Yeah.
And then the second year was a little bit more tough,
More realistic, I
more
guess you could say.
realistic. Yeah.
It's always fun when you like move out for the first time and like you didn't have any furniture, so like or like your parents want to give you like hand-me-down like furniture and like everything is just easy. You have like this big savings because you've been living under your parents' wing. And then it's like the second year is like, oh, okay. So like that's all gone because I had to pay bills and like get furniture and stuff. And the reality sets in. So I feel like that's what happened there.
Yeah.
And our rent went up a lot.
Yeah, that first year, like COVID was still freshly like leaving a little bit, and so our rent in New York City to live in the Upper East Side was only
Can
$1,500
you believe?
for one
That is
bedroom.
insane.
Like
I'm
that's
so
unheard
happy
of.
we jumped on that.
Me too.
But now we're in Texas.
And we're paying basically
Very
that.
strange. I know that we jumped from New York City to sweet old Texas as two lesbians that are mixed and black. There is a lot to unravel there,
Yeah, we're
but
experiencing a lot and adjusting.
we did choose to move to Austin, Texas. We both have family out here in Texas. That was one of the main reasons why we wanted to live here. The comfortability of having family in case something were to go wrong. And the biggest part is our rent. We are paying like split what we were paying in New York for this beautiful, beautiful apartment. This is like probably a dream apartment for sure.
Yeah.
This was our number one pick. We have 6 windows in the living room, like, we're just looking out at land, and it's just greenery and blue skies, and it's like a dream.
Yeah,
Actually,
it is. But to get here, like,
we had to do a lot.
we had to go through a lot, and I think our decision to move here was really based on that second year in New York. Like,
Yeah.
it was a tough year for us. Our relationship, like, we were really pushed to the limits, and I think big cities will kind of do that to you.
Yeah.
But I think usually people that move to like a big city the first year is the hardest because you're getting adjusted. But for us, we were just like in fairy tale land the first
Oh my
year.
God, floating.
And I think especially because we had that savings, like we were just like
Yeah.
so free and like doing whatever we wanted. Then the second year, we spent all that money, so
Yeah.
we were really stressed out all the time and
Yeah.
like very
And we're just
down bad.
young. Like, it's so hard to know like what you're supposed to do, and like you watch other people now. Social media is such a big thing, so you watch other people your age or that you graduated with that are like having these big jobs, but like you might not want to do that, or you don't know what job you like. Like, there is just so much going on, and New York is a place where you could feel so inspired or so behind. And I feel like we felt kind of both of those interchangeably like throughout the days, and I think that's really hard because like we were I there's so much I can go into. I don't even want to get into that. But yeah, now we're in Austin, Texas, and I do think there's some things that I feel like we maybe weren't expecting, that have like come up recently where we're just kind of like, but like there's also a lot of beauty in being here.
Yeah, that's the thing too, is that I think we're both like our life plans have changed a lot since moving
Yeah.
together. Like when we were long distance, it was like, oh my God,
Kids.
we're gonna get married. We're gonna buy a house in Texas. Actually, we were gonna move to Austin
Yeah,
originally,
literally.
so it's kind of cute that we ended up here.
I know.
But now we're like, we don't we don't want to have kids. We just want to have like a free life, like experiencing the world together. And so we also don't feel like tied down.
By
So
anything. We have no pets. We don't have anything. The only thing we feel tied down from is a lease, but that eventually ends.
yeah, and so we're also like people that are like, okay, like let's test out the city if we don't like it,
Yeah.
or even if we do like it, like there's
Life is
such a
short.
big world out there. Like we want to explore it, and so, and by world we mean the U.S. We both don't know if we could ever leave the
Oh my God,
country
no,
or
no,
not. I
no.
think we're not brave enough for that, but
No.
we can move around to different cities and test them out because they all have different vibes to them. So
Yeah.
we don't feel tied down here, but we're in our what, third month living here?
Yeah, 3.
And I think like so far we are liking it. It's just a lot to get adjusted to, but it's peaceful here.
It really is. I do want to end these with a question each time.
Yeah.
And maybe eventually we'll have you guys ask us a question or we'll ask you guys a question. But is this where you thought your younger self would be right here, right now?
Okay, I actually feel like for me, yes, but not with what came before it. Like,
Yeah.
I have family in Texas, so I always thought Texas had big cities. Like, I would go to Dallas a lot, and I was like, oh my God, Dallas is like so big. Like, this is
Yeah.
crazy living. Like, this
Yeah.
is city girl vibes.
City girl.
But, so that was my dream as like a kid, like elementary school kid. I was like, oh my God, I'm gonna move to Texas because I just thought it was cool that it was somewhere different.
Yeah.
But when I got into high school, I was like, no, like New York City or like Los Angeles is where I need to go and like where I need to be. And I never would have thought I would have made the move
Yeah.
to New York. I never would have expected that I'd be a lesbian and like in a 7-year relationship with a girl ever in my life. But like technically this is kind of where I thought I would be, but not with the like backstory.
Yeah. I almost feel the exact same thing. I never would have thought I'd be in a relationship with a woman for 7 years. I don't even think I thought I was going to be in a relationship ever. I honestly
Same.
thought I was going to be in my mom's basement for until I was like 35 and like working like in an office. Like, I don't know. I mean that I feel like that sounds horrible. Like that sounds like I just didn't see anything for myself in my future. But I do think that I did see myself doing something creatively, which we're doing now, and I am so happy, and I know my younger self would be so proud. I did have thoughts of Austin before, so it's really cool that we like made this happen. I never would have thought we would move to New York. Like even like when we eventually started to like get together, we would talk about New York all the time, but that just always felt like something that would never happen. It felt like it would be something that we would talk about for years and like it would just be like this big dream, but I never thought we would do it because we were like saying like yes we're gonna go to New York and then we were like I think we should go to Austin and then we started looking at Austin apartments instead and spending more time on Austin, but there was like a switch and we like actually made the move and I never thought that would have actually happened.
Yeah,
It's really crazy.
it is really crazy.
We've been through a lot and I am so excited to just like reveal so much that we've been through, like good times and bad times. And I think that the bad is really what has shaped our relationship because
sure.
we went through a lot, especially at the beginning of our relationship when we were really young. And there was just like a lot going on, a lot of emotions. And I don't know, I really do think that our story is so beautiful and I'm so excited to share that with you guys and I hope you guys really enjoyed this first episode. I thought we did pretty good.
Yep. I didn't think we would last an hour, but here we are.
You slayed that.
We really did slay this.
High five, babe. Thank you so much.
Just to let you guys know, if you're listening to the pod on like a podcast app or Spotify, these podcasts are all recorded visually. So if you want to watch them on
Yes.
YouTube, you can do that too.
Yes.
Everything's Isabel and Tamera. We're on TikTok, Instagram, everything. So
And Threads.
oh my
That's
God.
sorry guys, I'm so like addicted to this thing. It's so bad.
Threads came out last night and we are on it, okay?
But yeah, new episodes will be out on YouTube and Spotify every Wednesday. So make sure to be on the lookout for those. And you also will still, all my YouTube family, you still get a weekly vlog every Sunday. So technically on YouTube, you're getting 2 videos in a week, which is, I think, a slay.
Oh my God, it's such a slay.
But we love you guys so much. Thank you so much for tuning in to episode 1. And I can't wait to see you guys next week.